There are various external environmental forces that affect sporting teams within the Niagara region. Economy, political, social, technological, and the actual environment are to name a few. The economic forces being the tourism that the Niagara region receives, because they are a major tourist destination in Canada that will certainly affect attendance numbers at Ice Dogs and River Lions games. And the more disposable income the Niagara region receives, or the more disposable income that the Niagara region residents have, the more money they have to spend on tickets and merchandise. The social indicators being that the Niagara region has a diverse population, and with younger people liking basketball more, you can expect younger people to be more at the River Lion games, and the River Lions can maybe tailor their marketing campaign to get more older people to go to their games. Yeah. Then technological indicators being the social media and it being a massive avenue for fans to connect with their teams. Connect with their fans. They do so via apps and websites at their games. And they have social media teams that post highlights and post videos of their players for fans to watch and fans to connect with their team. The political indicators being the government funding that the organizations receive for their facilities and for their operations, and sport policy like the legalization of sport betting, which gives teams another avenue to generate revenue with sponsorships with sport and partnerships with betting companies. And the environmental indicators being the weather and being the closures, the disruptions in sporting events like the coronavirus and inclement weather postponing games. That is the environmental forces. There are 3 levels of fan identification: low identified fans, medium identified fans, and high identified fans. The low identified fans go to the sporting event for the social atmosphere, for the fun of it. There's no real identity to it. It's just to check out the atmosphere and have a good time. It's to cheer when they're supposed to, and to clap when they're supposed to. And when they leave the game, when the event is done, their fandom will go away. They are highly price sensitive, so if the price is very high for a regular season game, they're probably not going to want to spend the money. If the team isn't doing well at all, they're not going to want to tune in on TV. They're also highly performance, and that comes along with it being highly performance outcome sensitive. Medium identified fans have medium emotional attachment. They may not tune in if the team is not doing well. They may not spend the money when the team is not doing well either, when the superstar is hurt. They may move to become a low identified fan if the team is doing really bad consistently for a very long time. Most of these cases, if the team is doing really, really well, they'll become heavily involved for that short amount of time. A lot of these fans are bandwagons. They may only follow a certain player for an ulterior reason. And then there are high identified fans, which are the best fans and the most desirable fans for the sport team. They will recruit other fans to cheer for the team. They will get people to spend the money on the tickets and the clothes like they do. They will stay low when the team is not doing great for year's end. They have a low price sensitivity, so if the ticket prices go up, they'll still spend the money even though the team's doing bad. The performance outcome sensitivity is also quite low. The examples of that teams have used to increase their fandom is signing superstars to attract more fans to come out to their games to get more ticket sales. Like the Mets signing Juan Soto is one example. And the NBA expanding globally, playing their games overseas is another way that leagues have increased their fandom. Sport is much different than other forms of entertainment because they are unscripted. A lot of these other forms of entertainment is scripted. Movies and plays, they're scripted. There's a start, middle, and end. There may not be the same start and end in the sport game, There may not be a middle. Yeah. Sport games are also a form of active entertainment. These other forms of entertainment, they are passive entertainment. Fans are there to actively participate, actively cheer for the team. You are going to passively be entertained. You're just observing the play or the concert or the opera. You are not actively engaging like you are in sport. Sport also takes on a gambling and risk-taking aspect. That's a pretty new aspect to it, but you can't really find that in a concert or in a play or in a movie, people betting and people risk-taking like they do in sport. SWOT analysis can be split up into two. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths and weaknesses being the company's internal capabilities, what they can do intrinsically, and OT is the extrinsic capabilities, the external capabilities of the company, what they can do outside of their operations, outside in the real world. Ford has a couple of strengths in their partnership with Red Bull Racing. They have a strong brand recognition as one of the top car brands in the world, and they have a history of winning F1. And Red Bull has a pretty recent history of winning in F1. So hopefully that partnership can create more success. A weakness is Ford really hasn't been involved in, they have not been involved in F1 in quite some time, so they don't have much experience, and F1 is very costly, with engineers being a lot of money and research and developmental specialists to get the cars going at peak performance is also very, very expensive and costly. A couple of opportunities in this is that F1 is growing in terms of its popularity, and F1 has a great global reach. It's a global sport, and Ford can really strengthen their image as a car brand if they have some success in this. The threats are the competition is very high. They have lots of competitors to beat, like Ferrari and Mercedes, and it's just a risky move. If they fail, it can really dampen and undermine Ford's image as a car brand. And yeah, the sporting industry has a few unique traits, like the amount of emotion, passion, and loyalty it invokes in its fans. It really stimulates a big emotional response and immense loyalty from the fan. And other industries really don't do this. It's also a very unpredictable sport. A lot of people have trouble predicting it accurately, and a lot of other industries are more predictable. A lot of other industries are also more tangible. Sport is intangible. You're there for the feeling, you're there for the experience, you're there for the good experience, the good feeling, the good time. From other industries, you're buying things, you're buying objects, you're buying food. Sport is also different because it is solely focused on human performance. A lot of industries are driven by machines and are driven by artificial intelligence that is not of a human. Sport is solely involved on the human strengths, being physical and being mental. What makes sport so cool, the last thing, is the collaboration. There's lots of collaboration in sport. Trades are heavily encouraged. Partnerships are heavily encouraged. In other industries, partnerships may not be seen as so popular. It may seem as anti-competitive. You may not be able to partner with other companies in your industry. The pink it, shrink it way that we've catered towards women in sport is not used anymore. We try to treat women now the same as men. The establishment of the PWHL and the expansion of the WNBA and Women's Olympics becoming bigger and bigger now is moving women's sport in the right direction. We're trying to get it to be equal to men's sport, And that's why TSN, Sportsnet, and other large sport TV stations have produced more women's sport now, and more clothing brands, more sport brands like Nike and New Balance have put women as the new cover athletes. There's maybe sport teams could create more women-only sections at their games. There could be more meet and greets with top female athletes. Sport teams can fund even more women's sport initiatives. We still have much further to go with that. There are five different segmentation bases, market segmentation bases for segmentation, those being demographic, socioeconomic, psychographic, geographic, and behavioral. And benefit, sorry, there are 6. Demographic being segmenting people based on their age, their gender, and their ethnic background. An example of this is there used to be 2 different rugby World Cups, the Women's Rugby World Cup and the Rugby World Cup. Now there's just a Rugby World Cup to just classify them as being one. You don't want to split women up. There's also the socioeconomic, which is categorizing people in sport based on social class. For NASCAR fans, they're stereotyped as more the redneck, more blue collar, more non-educated individuals, while the people who watch golf and people who watch tennis are more upper class, and they're more established in society, they're educated, they have more white collar jobs. Psychographic is segmenting consumers based on their lifestyle and personality. It really allows marketers to understand why people do what they do. Like skydiving is for a consumer who highly values excitement and wants action in their life, and they want to do extreme things. They don't want to meddle and sit around. Geographic is grouping people based on where they reside. It's like the Toronto Maple Leafs, the semi-pro baseball team, targeting their operations and trying to get volunteers who only live in the GTA because they're in Toronto. They want the local fandom, the local volunteer. Behavioral being classifying sport consumers based on their purchasing behavior. Whether we have like MLB TV is for the diehard baseball fan. It's a service for watching sort of any baseball game you want if it's non-regional. I think that's a great example of, behavioral being the basis of segmentation. And the last one is benefits, which is segmenting people based on the needs of the consumer and the desirable features in a sport product. So like the shoe brand Hoka has lots of support in the foot for runners, and a lot of cool colors on Hoka shoes to attract the more fun and eccentric crowds who enjoy colorful clothing. The diversion from everyday life plays a huge role in fan attendance at sporting events. Any sporting event, you see people in suits that they're coming from their everyday lives, their jobs, they're taking a break. That's their end of the day fun. Sporting event is a great thing to do while passing time, and it's one of the things I love to do when enjoying myself. With the creation of Jurassic Park, it's created a great place for fans to, get away from the everyday life and enjoy and really be a diehard fan of other fans. And you can really just spend the whole day and escape your life and be at Jurassic Park on a playoff game day. My favorite part of the class so far is doing this take-home exam on my own time, even though I don't really love the video aspect to it. I like that we get to do this midterm on our own time. My least favorite part about the class is the reflective portfolio. I'm not the most creative type of person, and it's a really individual task. I wish we had more of a reflective portfolio, maybe as a group thing. But I'm not the most creative person, so I don't really love that that's the final assignment that's worth so much. Thanks for this. Have a great day.